Vengeance in its eyes, all hope seems to die when he sees your eyes running through the night. Only takes him back, always out of sight, crawling through the night. Run, you can run, but you'll never hide. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming.
Good evening, everyone. It is Sunday night. It can only be one thing. It is extra time, the final word on the weekend's action. And I do feel like it's a little bit like Groundhog Day, that we're living in this sort of cycle that keeps going over and over and over again. It seems to be the same every week. And I was really down yesterday. I'm sure probably a lot of Wolves fans were down. It's like 17 games, 2 wins, 15 games in the Premier League, 1 win. I know there's extenuating circumstances, but you kind of feel like we're making the same excuses all the time. We've got obviously tough teams, but we're making our own problems. So there is a poll that's running on our YouTube channel. So whether you're watching it on X, Facebook, or on YouTube, go onto the YouTube channel and make a vote, because we have got a poll that's going today, and that basically poll said, who is to blame? Is it Gary O'Neill? Is it Jeff Shee? Is it Matt Hobb? Or the players for what we're in at the moment? We've already got 240 of you watching live across all platforms, and we have got a panel of epic proportions today. But before we get stuck into that, I want to get this done up front, nice and soon for you. So I have got a little video that I do want to play just about NordVPN and the offer that we've got on that, and that's a couple of minutes. So thank you for your patience on that, and then we're going to get stuck in and introduce the guests. I'm really excited to bring you an amazing exclusive offer to Always Wolves subscribers with NordVPN, a product that I use myself as well. I'm going to tell you why I love it and why I think it'll be great for you. It's going to be less than a standard adult match ticket at Molineux. Like a lot of us, I do like to go abroad to get a little bit of sunshine and winter sun. And when you're abroad, you want to be able to watch, you know, in those down moments, some of your favourite shows, listen to your favourite podcasts. And literally at the click of a button on your phone, your app or your computer, you literally click that, and within seconds it goes green. It's so fast and so secure to connect. So if you like watching your Netflix or your Now TV and your football, click that and you can watch it wherever you are in the world. And I use it a lot when I'm out and about and having to connect to public Wi-Fi. Obviously public Wi-Fi is not that secure, so by connecting to NordVPN, it keeps your data and your privacy absolutely safe. A lot of people might think, okay, yeah, it's X amount, you get 1 device. It doesn't just cover 1 device, it doesn't cover 2, it doesn't cover 5, it doesn't cover 7, it covers 10 devices in your household. So that's your tablet, your phones, and there's an app that you can download to your TV as well. So multiple devices for multiple people is covered under this one plan. Up to 10 devices, insane. And with NordVPN, you get 24-hour support as well. So what is the offer? So the offer is 24 months at 74% off, pretty much less than a match ticket for 1 game at Molineux. We're throwing in an extra 4 months free, and you've got a 30-day money-back guarantee as well if you don't like it. The link is in the description below for you to click. Or if you're listening to this and you just want to log on, just go on to nordvpn.com/alwayswolves, or go on to the alwayswolves.co.uk website and you'll be able to get the link from there as well. As I say, it's something I use a lot all the time myself, so hopefully you guys will find it really useful and you don't mind me telling you about it. And it helps out the channel as well. Always Wolves. Yeah, that's absolutely cracking deal. Actually, when I looked at the prices on it, I think the normal price is like £274 for 24 months, and you're getting it for just over 60 quid plus an extra 4 months and 30 days money back guarantee, and I say 10 devices, which is pretty cool. Look, I want to move on now because we have got an epic show for you today. I'm going to bring on first someone that's got more wins than Wolves have. So we need a bit of joy in our life. It's like constantly winning awards and being recognised for the work that they do. And that is, I'm so proud to introduce what is Pride of Britain Midlands Award winner. And you're going to the final in London for the Pride of Britain Awards in just over a month's time. You've got a crazy walk around Molineux this weekend. Manny, on behalf of all of us, we're incredibly proud of you. You've been a supporter of the channel right from day one. You were on the first ever podcast that we did as well. Congratulations. How are you feeling about that?
Right, thank you. That's a good intro, Dave. I need to tire you. No, thank you very much. And thank you to, all the messages from so many fans. And you know me, I can talk forever, but that on that day when I got
speechless, mate. You were speechless.
Honestly, I didn't know what to say because I work for Network Rail. I've been with them for 20 odd years, and I go everywhere. And I was sitting, if people don't know, I'm at Grand Central, sitting on a chair in front of Ozzy the Bull for some sort of Network Rail promotion they're doing, and suddenly ITV turn up with the cameras and tell me that I've won this award. So, to catch you on the hop like that is like, wow, and it's
you were literally like, it's
I was. I didn't know what to say, honestly, even now
on.
when I think about it, because when for fundraising, I always say, came into my life, it just sort of happened, something I got into. It kept me fit, and then we helped people in the same time, and then it's just snowballed into this unbelievable, awesome thing that involves so many names I'm seeing on the list, saying well done. A lot of people have been supporting for a number of years. You yourself, we got a huge Samosa Saturday team, and this type of thing, you never think, do you? You never think someone's gonna, and it's these fans who nominate and put you forward. So thank you. And the one thing it does more than anything else, it gets Dementia UK's name up in lights. They've never ever had any of their fundraisers ever nominated for, or go to those awards ever. So that's a first time for that charity. So it's huge for them. And thank you for all the congratulations. I'm reading them. I am, and it's given me a huge boost. I would have liked 3 points as well at the Villa to give me an extra boost, but it's given me a boost, and hopefully this weekend, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts, but hopefully.
I just hope you get some sleep. Now, we're going to cover this a little bit later on in the show before we end. We're going to go a little bit more into depth. But mate, I was hoping that you got your little award, but you are in Oxford in a hotel room because you started work in Oxford tomorrow. So we hadn't brought the award with them, but we will get you on at some point with the award. And I just, on behalf of the whole channel and everyone that watches, the whole Wolves family.
Thanks everybody. You left your fridge door open. No, that's just some light. That's the only light in this room, I'm afraid. So thanks. It was like I said, it's a huge partnership between the Wolves family. It is Wolves and the fans who donate and encourage and nominate and push me to do more. So thank you to everybody.
Well, there's loads of good wishes there. I would say we'll come back onto the fundraising for this weekend. Okay. But next up, we haven't had him on for a little while because he's not been too well. But we are great to have back the voice of reason, Mr. Jack. How are you feeling, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you? Congratulations, Manny.
Thanks, man.
Manny's been into the school that I work in a couple of times, and the impact that he's had on the children and the staff is unbelievable. And I always think that good things happen to good people, and I think Manny is perfect embodiment of that. I think he's such a well-deserved.
Honestly, right, absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. There was actually a story from Jack's school. Just might as well share it. There was a girl who was with a teacher. I think she was autistic or something. And I went in to talk about what it took to run the London Marathon. I took my medal in and I took my number that I wore, and I just had to give it her. She came up to me and I gave her the number that I wore. And it's amazing, to think that children are inspired by what you do. I think that's even more than all the money we raise. That's an amazing thing to see. So it's a pleasure, Jack, and hopefully we'll come in again.
Absolutely, yeah.
And how's your health, Jack? Because you suffer from what's the illness that you have?
Crohn's,
which can be quite debilitating, and it can affect you and stresses. How are you now?
I'm okay. I don't think being a Wolves fan helps sometimes with the stress and everything, but no, it's one of them. I always think positivity is a choice, isn't it? And I try and kind of stay upbeat. And it's kind of because I was only sort of diagnosed during the pandemic, sort of 2020, 2021. So I've kind of had to learn how to listen to my body a little bit and kind of know when to step off and take a rest, and when to kind of be able to push myself and that kind of thing. So it's kind of still a work in progress on that front, if you like. But yeah, I'm okay at the minute.
Fantastic. Good to see it. And someone else that's been returning from worldwide tour. It is Craig, charismatic Craig. Is back. He's back in his mansion with his ivories. You've been away for like 2 months. You've been busy. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, Dave. Really, really well. Apart from Wolves, Manny, you are my hero. You're an absolute star,
mate. Honestly, it's just a pleasure to help and do what we can. And thanks,
and Manny. You're even too tall to hug, and I'm I'm 6'1", and I'm climbing up there. But
you're now my favourite bald person. There you go.
Oh, well, there you go. And you've been well, Craig.
Yeah, mate. I mean, I've been having like two months playing golf in Spain. Has been absolutely brilliant. I mean, with the weather over here, which has been awful, but boy, are we taking some stick at the moment. It's
we're going to got a lot to get stuck into.
Through, yeah.
Well, we have got smiles in the house coming next, because we need some smiles, and so by popular demand, Lucy the Golden Girl is back. How you doing, Lucy?
I'm all right, thank you, sweetie pie. How are you?
I'm all right. It's good to see you, and hopefully you can bring some sunshine tonight in the discussion. And yeah,
I'll try. I'll try. It's going to be really tough after yesterday, but I'll try.
Yeah, I think we're all gonna have to try.
Manny, love you.
There you go. Those kisses for Craig there, because you were having a bit of a loving in the members chat earlier. You two.
He's gorgeous. I love her.
Oh, Craig knows.
I do know. She's a beautiful person, and she looks gorgeous as well. As does Em. I have to say. We love our ladies.
Next up, I'm really delighted to have back. It always gives some really great insight. We've got Lewis. How you doing, mate?
Hi, Dave. Congratulations, Manny, as well. Such a fantastic achievement, and you really do deserve
thanks, Lewis.
So much work. So, yeah, big well done to you.
Thank you, man.
And what have you been up to, Lewis?
Today I've been spending time with my girlfriend, Dave. To be honest, had a party we went to this afternoon for a good friend of mine. So, is
that Amy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw her Instagram story that you've been at a very nice party. Was it good fun?
Yeah, it was nice. It was good to see a few close friends there, so that was good. Yeah.
Fantastic. You got a few people saying hello to you. Now listen. You know it's serious when the next guest comes on. It is like, proper serious. When the producer herself says, I need to come on the show. And there she is. Emma, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. And
Best
everyone in the chat,
everyone.
I just want to say now, everyone in the chat, you better behave yourselves.
That's all.
Don't think I'm not watching what you're saying, and I will still time you out if you're naughty.
There you go. Well, yeah, because she was saying, like, I think I need to. I mean, if you watch on a Wednesday afternoon, she's come on to a couple of shows with the Premier League and predictions and stuff like that, and she's absolutely tatering me at the moment. And she said, yes, I think I'm going to need to come on the show, so I'm going to be really interesting to hear what she got to say. Before we go any further, I do want to say a massive thank you, as always, to our partners of this show, Creation Wolf, who do so much for us, powering extra time, delivering the industry's latest, most advanced digital solutions. Local company, brilliant people, did so much to help with the Content Creators Cup as well, and all of that. Creationwolf.com. I'm sure they'll be watching the show. Say hi to you guys as well. And right, we're going to get stuck in. As I say, this poll is running at the moment. So if you're on YouTube, there is a poll that's running. I can't quite see it live. So Carl, if you're watching, which I know you will be, if you just put the current poll results, who is to blame, Gary O'Neill, Matt Hobbs, GFG, all the players, let us know. And if everyone votes on that, and make sure you do like the video. But I am going to start tonight by asking what are the talking points of yesterday, and I'm going to start with Emma, because she said she wanted to come on and she wanted to make some points. So Emma,
I've got a list.
You've got a list. What are you?
On, lads.
Yeah, that's been ready.
I promise I won't hog the conversation.
Go on then. So what are your talk points that you'd like to make?
Well, I'll start with just one talking point, and that is, it wasn't that long ago that Gary O'Neill told us all in his press conferences that he was going to be a manager that was versatile, adaptable. He wasn't going to be one of these managers stuck in one ideology. And, you know, there's plenty of them out there, and that he would adapt. And my first point really is, we're not seeing any versatility from him. He's not adapting. He said he would take each game by game and put the best team out for that game, whether it be 4 at the back, whether it be 5 at the back. And we're not seeing that from him. And that is something that he told us that he would do.
Absolutely. So basically, what's your other points that you got there? So basically the tactics like last year.
Someone else.
Well, you have got a list, so I thought we'll go to you and then we'll go round.
Okay. More points. You put me under pressure now. I don't like it. For whatever reason, I just feel that we're not maintaining energy, intensity. We're not adapting to the opposition. I felt like Gary O'Neill has either been very late making changes, he's made the wrong changes. The only positives I took out of the changes yesterday was that he didn't bring Wang on. Because I feel like when he has brought Wang on at the moment, his head is elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And he's got other things going on, and his focus is not on that game. And I feel like, you know, in the past he's been an asset, he's been a good player for us. But at the moment, he is well and truly out of the form. And I'm not sure he justifies his place on the bench at the moment. So that was one of my positives, that he didn't bring Wang on. But I would have liked to see him bring a bit more pace on. Perhaps Forbes should have come on.
To take us up the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's go over to Jack, because obviously we haven't heard from you for quite a while. And then we're going to go Craig, Lucy, Lewis, and then Manny. Jack, you've heard what Emma's had to say there. What do you have to say about her points, and what points would you like to make?
Broadly speaking, I agree. I think we need a lot more from O'Neill currently. Tactically, he's getting done by every single opposition manager at the minute. I mean, we were sat there at half-time yesterday, and we said, do you know what? We're controlling this game because McGinn isn't tracking Ait-Nouri. And Ait-Nouri's got the freedom of that left-hand side to get forward, pull us up the pitch. We've got so much space down there. I'll tell you what Emery will do. He'll bring Bailey on and push us back. And guess what Emery did? He brought Bailey on and he pushed us back. And O'Neill's response was to take Larson off. Now, if Larson wasn't injured, that was an abysmal substitution because the only reason that we were up the pitch was because Larson was our out ball. And as soon as he went off, we just dropped deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. I mean, if we'd have gone any deeper, we'd have been sat in the alt end. And that's, you know, you could see it coming with 20 minutes to go that they were going to win the game. And there was nothing from the bench that you've got to throw something back. You've got to throw something back. Even if you're under pressure, it's the Premier League. Teams are going to have good spells against you because they're good sides. But you've got to be able to throw something back. And we offered nothing in that second half. As good as we were in the first half, we offered nothing in that second half. And for me, yesterday was on the manager. On the manager. Craig.
Yeah, Dave, I've spent most of today and last night on all the Wolves Facebook posts. We're very, very split as a tribe. There's the people that literally can't see any wrong, and I shake my head in utter disbelief at those people. And then there's the others that are absolutely in like meltdown. But if I can read you something that I wrote on a post that was talking about us people that are criticising at the moment that we're wets, we're melts, we're not true Wolves fans, which I believe is a real insult. And I put my first post was unbelievable head in the sand post. And I'm going to talk football, not emotions. Gary O'Neill is tactically inept. And yes, I played the game, so I understand a little bit about football. With the ball, we look as good as anything I've seen at Wolves in my 62 years watching them. Defensively, we are set up to concede goals and give the opposition easy chances. This is irrefutable. At half-time yesterday, anyone with a modicum of a football brain knew that Villa would throw everything at us in the second half. Our boys had run Villa ragged in the first half, so we needed a tight formation with 1, fewer spaces, and 2, a disciplined structure where space and opportunities would be hard to create. But no, the formation that has seen us ship goals for fun has given us 1 win in 15 and 12 losses remains entrenched. God knows that we can't defend in a 4-4-2. If he doesn't, he's a worse tactical coach than I already think he is, yet he's done nothing. So substitutions were required at 50 minutes as the pressure ramped, and he did nothing. The inevitable happened, and from then, it was a matter of how many. Our boys are good enough. They're talented and they're willing. The manager is defensively clueless. To try and say otherwise is actually denying facts. Bournemouth sacked him because they saw it. We are in very serious trouble if this man stays in charge. You can't defend, you get relegated. We cannot defend in this formation. It's that simple. We've currently conceded 14 goals in 5 games, scored 5 at a ratio of 3-1. 15 points for the season is what we're due on current form. This is tactical. These players are good enough for the top half, but our manager is clueless.
Fantastic. Lucy, do you want to come in on that?
Yeah, I'm going to come on as the resident happy clapper. But today and yesterday, I've got no words. It was so depressing. I finished the game. I came home and I just sat there and I just thought, how did we give a game away when we played such fantastic football in that first half? We absolutely annihilated them. They didn't know what they were doing, and then to give it away the way we did, it was as if they just went, right, come on, we're winning 1-0. Let's just defend that now. We don't need to score anymore. Let's just defend a 1-0. You can't do that. Not in this league. You can't do that. We need more goals. The fans deserve more goals to be bloody celebrated, I'm afraid. And they're just not giving us that. It just feels so deflating. It really, really does. As I say, I'm a happy clapper. I'll come on. I'll bring all the smiles, like you say, but I can't see a way forward at the moment. Gary O'Neill needs to have a good shake of his bloody head, and he needs to think, hang on a minute, this isn't working at the moment. Why is it not working? Because you've got the wrong players in. And yes, we have got brand new players that haven't played in the Premiership before. I get that. But they're good enough. They're good enough. So why not, I'm lost for words at the moment, to be honest. I'm still a bit rattled from yesterday.
Well, I think a day on yesterday. I mean, I was like really down yesterday. I was like all of us, were so positive at half time. And if you've watched my match vlog, you'll see me say at half time, 1-0 up, we need to push on. We haven't taken the chances. Let's hope it doesn't go the same way. And I'm halfway through the match vlog before the score. I've got to say, this has got the feeling of Newcastle. And then it's like Groundhog Day. It's happened again.
Yeah.
Lewis, let's hear your points, and then we're going to go to Manny. What takeaways have you got, and what are you picking out the bones of what's been said so far? You're on mute. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we could hear you.
Yeah. I think as everyone has said so far, everyone is just very disappointed with what they're seeing, and it's no longer disappointment with anyone at the club other than Gary, because some people may have wanted more signings from the board and from Matt Hobbs, and maybe that wasn't possible. But we should expect a lot more from what Gary has, and I think the fix for it is so simple. He has to play 5 at the back. It's not something that is a really difficult thing to kind of work out, and that's why I'm not too concerned if Gary left, because hopefully the new manager coming in, whoever he would be, would see that and say, okay, let's do that. It's not like it's a huge thing that needs to change. It's very simple. Jack made the point that we had a lot of luck because Aït-Nouri had that freedom because McGinn wasn't tracking him. It's exactly what we did last year when Aït-Nouri was fit, because he had that freedom in the 5 at the back system where he could go forward and he had Totti behind him. It's all we did. It wasn't anything that we couldn't do this year. It's very possible for us to play that same way. So I think it's very disappointing that Gary is so, as Emma said as well, someone who is committed to being a flexible manager who will change and adapt to each game. He hasn't done that anymore. And for the past 3 games, he's shown that in a perfect example that, in Chelsea, Newcastle and Villa, for the first half, generally we were much the better side. And all that happened was the managers of the opposition side went in at half-time, looked at a couple of changes, and Gary can't react. His plan is too rigid, and you have to be able to adapt, because otherwise you end up with results like this where, I was speaking to one of my friends at the party today, and they said they saw the first half table, which I don't really like to follow this kind of stuff too much, Dave, because the result is the full-time results, a 90-minute game. But we would be 7th. So clearly there is something going on that Gary can't react to consistently. And I know we've had a tough start, that's for sure. But to be on 1 point after 5 games and looking at the next 3 games, it's likely we'll be on 1 point, at the end of those games too. So I think, I'm always somebody who likes to look at performances over results to a point, because I think if you're playing well but losing games, eventually you will pick up points. But at the moment, we are not playing well for the whole game. We play a half well. The other team works us out and changes, and we can't adapt. So I'm quite concerned that that's the direction we're heading in. And I think that sooner or later something has to give, and a new manager should be looked at. But it's very disappointing to me because Gary is clearly, only a few months ago, 2 months ago, he was being interviewed by Liverpool. You don't get that kind of interview without being at least an all right manager. He has to have shown some quality. I know the results have been going on beyond the start of this season. This is a long run of winless period, but it's very disappointing because he has a lot of potential, I think, as a coach, but at the moment he's showing none of it.
Fantastic points as always, Lewis. Manny, you've been waiting patiently.
It's been good. It's been great listening. Man City have won more games in a month than we've won in 9 months in the league. All right. So, there's a problem. We were sitting on 8 points at half time this season, 2 wins, beating.
I saw you tweet earlier.
Beating Villa and Newcastle. We're drawing against Chelsea and Forest, and we're only 1-0 down against Arsenal. So in every single game this season, you're sitting at half time thinking, we could get something here. And we've ended up with 1 single point. So if it was just the one game, out of those 5, or maybe 2, but it's all 5. So something's gone wrong. Now, I'm going to go back to what he wanted to do in pre-season. He was quite clear in the way he wanted to play, which I like. I like that. I like a manager coming out, I want to play this way. These are the players I want. But after playing pre-season, doing well in pre-season, remember that Leipzig result, 3-0, and we're all thinking, oh, here we go. We were all thinking that.
Yeah,
and then straight away, he's the one who announced. He announced that I've got to change things. I can't play the way I wanted. Well, hang on, you've just brought these players in to play the way you wanted, and now you're saying I can't play the way I wanted. And okay, now he should have realised from that Chelsea game. The Arsenal one, I'll write that off. From that Chelsea game, he should have realised, I ain't got the players to play this. Let's go, like Lewis says, let's go to 5 at the back. We did it last year. It might not be perfect in terms of my long-term ambition, but we got to get results. We can't ship 6 goals in a game, in a Premier League game. That's relegation teams. The teams that finish in the top 6 or 7 ain't going to ship 6 goals in a game. So you've got to shut up shop straight away. Old-fashioned managers would next match, they'd go back to basics. I don't care. Let's just, kick lumps at the opposition, get a clean sheet, get a point on the board, and let's move on. Back to basics, build on. And it seems like every single game we've been in a situation, and yeah, we're all frustrated at, parts of the investment and not bringing a centre half in. But if we look at the games alone, we've had a chance to react. We've seen the opposition manager react in all the games, and we've seen ours. I told you last time about pre-planning substitutes. Doyle and Hwang were pre-planned in 2 of the games. How is that reacting to what you're seeing? So you've got to ask questions. 5 wins in the calendar year. If you're not going to ask questions, 14 goals conceded in the Premier League equal worst in the league. If that was an opposition manager, we were thinking that opposition would probably sack that manager. So questions are going to be asked regardless of who we're playing. I know the matches are hard. They're not, but which ones aren't hard? This is the Premier League, and you have to turn up. And we're in a position. If we'd have lost from the first whistle to the last, then we could say the players are not good enough. We're getting overrun. They're not scoring goals. They're not. But we've been in great positions up to 70 minutes. We're still in the lead, and you have to react to that. And I agree with Jack. Even Newcastle, Jack, when Strand Larsen went off there, Strand Larsen is the automatic out ball. You've suddenly got a striker. Sam Johnston's job was so much easier because he could literally lump it up there, and this guy's going to battle, and he's going to win a lot of the balls, hold him, and then you've moved further up the pitch. As soon as you take that target man off that you've brought in, especially to do that job, you've got all these, like, even Cunha, he can't really play there. When he moves him inside, he can't play there. He doesn't really, he sort of loses himself there. So time's running out, isn't it? Because this is the Premier League, and we can't wait till 9 games and 10 games and say we'll wait till Southampton, because it could be too late. You think Southampton's going to be an easy game? They're going to be rubbing
this as well, Manny. When you get to that sort of point, if you've not got points, the pressure is unbelievable on even trying to win that game. The pressure's mounting because you're desperate for points, and when you're desperate, you start to play safe, and all that. And I think you make some really, really good points. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play. Go on.
I'll just make a point. We're playing in the best football league in the world that has the best managers in the world, and you've got to match their thought process and their strategy. You've got to nullify what they do, and they're doing that to us, and we're not doing that to them.
Absolutely. I've got a couple of videos that I'm going to play now from a couple of our international fans, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to be asking the question, who is to blame? First of all, we've got Aisha from Italy.
Hi everyone, Asia from Parma, actually right now in Vienna, Austria, and another defeat. What can I say? It's starting to get a bit concerning, but somehow I'm not surprised because I can't remember a good start of the season since, I don't know, forever. And the only positive aspect of today was our first half. We did an amazing first half, not our best, but still it was the best one since the start of the season. But as we could expect it, Villa grew up into the game. They're stronger than us right now, so they grew up into the game and we just sat down. We watched them play, we let them play. I feel really sorry for Cunha because he did an amazing job, an amazing goal, and all of us did a great game in the first half, but our second half was a championship performance, definitely. So I'd like to say head up onto the next game, but it will be against Liverpool. We can try. You never know, but also I think Gary O'Neill did some very bad substitutions today. But as I said, you never know. So head up onto the next game at home against Liverpool. Look at this. Pretty nice. See you all for the next one.
This is Chris from Heidel in Norway speaking just after the game against Aston Villa has ended. Another defeat inevitably. Another suicidal second half of the game inevitably. This is particularly like living the same film every single game, quite honestly. The same mistakes being made. Our opponents make tactical changes and substitutions, and we fail to react to any of the situations, meaning that we're at a distinct disadvantage. The same mistakes in terms of in-game management have been made every week now. We're a 60-minute team. It looks like it. We just die on 60 minutes. We saw it today. Lamina was absolutely exhausted. I'm right. I think, what's he doing? But Villa were building up the pressure, and we just needed some fresh legs out there because we'd done so well up to that point. But you could see what was happening. We could all see what was happening. Exactly the same as we could all see what was happening against Newcastle. You saw the other team begin to dominate. You saw us getting deeper and deeper. And we saw it coming. And it's happened again. Now, when the same things happen again and again every game, you have to start to think that maybe, and it really pains me to say because I like the guy, but we can't go on like this. It might be that we need to make a change of manager now because we cannot continue like this. We can't. The same mistakes, the same issues. I don't know what else to say. I really do not know what else to say. I don't think any Wolves fan really wants to see Gary O'Neill lose his job, but it might come to it now.
Right, some fantastic points there from some of our international fans. Before we get on to man of the match and all of that, we're now going to be asking, where does the blame lie currently? Who is to blame for things at the moment? Now, I'm going to just talk about a couple of things before I go to and think about who wants to go first on this. Obviously, I've put in the chat Gary O'Neill, Jeff Shee, the players, Matt Hobbs. I've been really quite positive about Matt Hobbs, everything that he's done since he's taken over. I think he's done a great job. I think he's done brilliant for us. He dealt with the situation with the FFP last year. He got great value for Max Kilman and Pedro Neto, both players that we thought might go in the summer. He's brought players in. We've got a deeper squad than we did last year. But the one thing that I am a little bit frustrated with, and where I think he's dropped the ball, is the defence this year. Last year, it was, the issues with the depth and the strikers and the number 9. And it took us 3 years to get a number 9. And we finally got a good number 9. We've got a good midfield. All I had to do was make sure that we had the depth, because you play Russian roulette when you think we've got enough in there. Yerson Mosquera, absolutely brilliant. Dawson coming back from an injury last year. Totti Gomez is still very young. Santiago Bueno still very young. They brought in the young French lad who apparently is a good player, Bastien. He's only 18. We've sent Hugo Bueno, who's our only real proper young, solid left back, and then you go, yeah, we're okay, and then Totti's got a knock. Bastien, who's the young one, he's supposed to be injured, and then Yerson Mosquera, who's probably been our best defender, is now looking injured, and even if we want to look at playing a 5 at the back, even fully fit, we've got Dawson, Santiago Bueno, and Totti Gomez, and then we're playing like Ryan Aitnery or maybe even Matt Doherty on that left-hand side. We're so thin. Gary O'Neill even said yesterday in his aftermath press conference, it's a big blow for us. It don't look good for Yerson Mosquera, and I hope it's not as bad as what it does look. It's an area where we're already short. We could all see this. We were talking about it for a month, that we needed to bring in depth in the defence, and we didn't do it. And they've gambled like they gambled last year with the forwards, and then you get the injuries. And the thing that really depressed me most yesterday, it wasn't just the win, it was seeing Yerson Mosquera go off, because I'm thinking we're 5 games in, and what are we going to do with the defence? What can we do? Where's the depth? Alfie Pond is our backup. So as much as I like Matt Hobbs and so whether that was restriction from Jeff Shee or whatever, that should have been dealt with. And sometimes I think there's a reluctance to play the extra 2 million or whatever it is to get these players in, and then it comes and costs you. You can drop 2 million a place. So I think he's doing a great job, but I do think that's an area that we should have dealt with. I know that I spoke to Matt Hobbs on the day of the Content Creators Cup, and I know they were in for a defender, which didn't happen. But you leave it to the last day of the window. It's frustrating. So yeah, who wants to go first? Who is to blame for the current predicament? Carl put the latest polls. Gary O'Neill, the players, Jeff Shee, Matt Hobbs, or a mixture. Who wants to go first on this one?
I'll get going, Dave.
Okay.
First of all, in our current predicament, it's Gary O'Neill. He's static, as Lucy said. He's inflexible. We're not talking 5 games here, and anyone that thinks we are belongs in the loony bin. We're talking about 15 games where he's played this 4-4-2, and we're conceding for fun. So his inflexibility for where we are at the moment, not using the talent to the best of their ability, rather than trying to get the talent to fit his mindset. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that moron Shee, who, when Nuno and Wolves were flying, he screwed Nuno up, and Nuno's come back and he's proved himself with a league championship in Saudi, and he's proving it himself now with a badly run club in Forest who don't understand finances, but still doing a fantastic job. When they got rid of him, because she wants to be the man in charge. This club won't go forward until she goes for a start, and unfortunately, Gary's got to go. Anybody that inflexible, anybody that doesn't understand how to use the talent to the best of its ability is not a great manager. Sorry.
Fantastic points. Who wants to go next? Jack?
I'll go there.
Next.
Go on,
Yeah,
you go.
I agree with
Manny?
Oh, me, sorry. You know what? We've had obviously a real big go at Gary O'Neill, but can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Sorry.
you fine. Loud and clear, mate.
You know, Dave, I'm going to agree with you. You know, Jeff Shee, let's be honest, Nuno, Large, Lopetegui, and if Gary O'Neill leaves, you know, or gets sacked, we'll probably say the same thing. They all had an issue with not getting that one or two players just to play the way they wanted, because it cost like you said, £2 million more. It wasn't, you know, fine. We sold Kilman how many weeks ago? How many weeks ago did we sell Kilman? So we had to get a centre half in. Everybody could see that. We were bringing Mosquera in, and nobody really knew how good or how bad he might be because he's never played in the Premier League. Craig Dawson, really, we should have had a replay. We should have had, you know, he did really well last season. He's never going to really last a season, is he? Let's be honest, at his age, he's probably going to pick up an injury soon himself. So what are you left with? Santi Bueno and Totti Gomez, who's injured and is off form, you know, and it was just clear as daylight that we had to bring in some experience at the back. And we failed to do that. So the transfer window, even though we bought some exciting players, we almost bought players where we sort of didn't need them. You know, we got rid of Neto and we bought two wingers in. Possibly could have just had one. People like Sarabia and that ain't even going to get a game now, really. They're just on the bench. Pedro Lima can't even get on the bench, you know. And then in centre half positions, who are we looking at? I'm actually now looking at Wolves Academy side to think, well, who have we got? We got Alfie Pond, and who's next after him if he gets injured, you know? And it is so. I think under this regime that we've got over 4 managers, you know, ever since those 7th places, we are a club set up just to try and avoid relegation by hook or by crook. And Fosun possibly come January will panic and suddenly they'll find a mystery 30-40 million pounds. We'll end up signing a couple of players just to keep our heads above water again. And that's all we'll do. 12th to 17th FC.
Manny, we have that money in the bank because we were already about 15 to 20 million pounds up after last year's trading, and we've made a 30 million pound profit on the summer trading. So that's 50 million. I know, you know, give or take. So there is money there. Next summer, there's another 60 million that disappears. So we've got a huge opportunity next summer, but get into next summer. And it's all right saying, I mean, they've done a great job last year. I know there was a lot of meltdown with the FFP. Matt Hobbs, brilliant. Gary came in with 3 days' notice. You can't fault the job that he did last year. Absolutely brilliant. But like, it's depressing at the moment, and it's just we want a bit of joy. We want to see our team win.
Can you see our owners spending that available money? No, I can't.
No chance.
Let's be honest. No chance.
No chance.
Well, I'm going to go on to Emma. So next, if you don't mind, because you think that they're up for sale, don't they, Emma? From what you?
Oh yeah, definitely. They're definitely tied. Yeah. Well, they say they're looking for investment, but that's the same thing. They're either selling part or all of the club, and we know that they've employed these lawyers in New York. It's quite open. It's quite out there. Doing what they're doing, they're making the books look better. Potentially ready for those investors and sales. But as far as to whose fault it is, I think you have to say it's a combination of all those things. You can't just put it. It's very rare that it's just one person or one thing that is the issue. And sacking Gary O'Neill doesn't necessarily resolve all the issues that we've got. We'll still be short on centre backs. it's like everyone's saying we'll just go through 5 at the back, 3 at the back, but we've potentially got 3 fit senior centre backs. So going 3 at the back gives us a whole new.
Alfie Pond's guaranteed on a place on the bench in that case, isn't he?
Yeah, but I'm Gary O'Neill. Yes, he carries some of the blame. I'm not going to add anything to what anything else has said. Jeff Shee, he's just the instrument of the owners, really. So if they say there's money available, they're going to plug the gap of whatever loss. Because people seem to forget that if we make a loss, the owners have to stump up that cash and plug that hole of millions and millions of pounds. It's very easy for us to say, oh, just throw the money in. It isn't our money. You might be mega, mega rich, but it's still big money that we're asking for. So Jeff Shee can only do what he's told to by the owners financially. Players, I do feel they look committed. I wouldn't say they're not trying, and I wouldn't place like loads of blame there, but at the end of the day, there has to be a degree of responsibility across the board from all these people.
A collective. Jack.
A collective.
Who's to blame?
I think it's a bit of everything. I mean, I think we can sit here, like Emma says, and we can deride O'Neill for all the things where he's sadly lacking currently, and perhaps overall he's perhaps that's where he is as a coach at the minute. But if I'm sitting here right now, to be honest, do I think that sacking Gary O'Neill solves everything? I don't think it even touches the sides, because I just think while Jeff Shee is got his fingers in everything, I think the club will always be behind the 8 ball and will always be struggling to keep up with all the other clubs, and will always be a player short here, a player short there, and it's just it. And if Gary O'Neill did go, I mean, the quality of coach that you're going to get in to replace him it's almost going to be like for like, isn't it? I saw someone mention Rob Edwards earlier. That's where you're going to be looking, isn't it? Someone also put on the chat Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel's not coming to work for Jeff Shee. Let's be really clear on that. So if you sack Gary O'Neill, you're going to get a Rob Edwards, whoever, and so the cycle starts again. And I think Matt Hobbs has kind of gambled a little bit on O'Neill, thinking that there's a big upside if he does earn his spurs, if you like, and he proves to be a really good coach, because there's a big upside to having a young British manager in charge. And at the minute, it doesn't look like he's quite working out, but there's nothing to say that he won't just go down that road again and get a Rob Edwards, get whoever it is. So it's a bit of a catch-22, if you like, isn't it? Because there is clearly something not quite right, but it's not necessarily just a one issue fix, is it? So there's a little bit of everything. And I also think, I don't know if someone put it on the chat earlier as well, O'Neill's sort of post-match defeatist, we're always the underdogs. I just think, get over yourself a little bit. You know, we're in the Premier League and we've got 3 Brazilian internationals on the pitch yesterday, Portuguese internationals, guys who've played for England. You got Norwegian international up front. You know, we're not a League One team in the FA Cup going to Villa Park and hoping for a replay. And he's sort of saying, oh, well, you know, we're always against it as a club. And I just think, you know, that must filter through to the players. They must be sitting there thinking, well, this manager don't rate us very much because he keeps saying we're second favourites every time we step on the pitch. That's got to change as well. He's got to have that mindset of, you know, we are in our own right a big football club and we've got to go into games believing. I mean, next week at Liverpool, you know, it's a tough game. Of course it is, but there's absolutely no reason we can't get a result. But if he's telling the players all week in training, oh, Liverpool are a good team, we're underdogs here, we're underdogs here, they're not going to get a result. So I think he's got to kind of really set his mindset.
I 100% agree. And this is one of the things I said in our reaction straight after the game. I don't know if you saw it. Villa have a big club mentality. They've got a big club manager. Their owners have got an idea of what they want to do with them. They've set out an objective. We were level and in front of Aston Villa 2 or 3 years ago. We were ahead of them. And they've invested, they've backed themselves, they've thought big, they've acted big. And if you act it, dream it, believe it, you become it. And I do agree with you. Some of the comments said by Jeff in the summer about you know, if you want to win
It starts from the
trophies.
top, doesn't it? It starts from the top.
That really hurt me, and I think it hurt a lot of the fan base, because you've got to go in with hope and dreams and belief. We turn up in our numbers at Molineux and away, spend our money following this team and backing the team, and we always back them and believe and go in with positivity. And then when you've got like Jeff coming out and saying that really did hurt the fan base. I mean, obviously all the other things that happened to her, but that statement, it's like you take away your dreams and your hope, what's the point? And then you've got kind of Gary coming out and saying the same things. Well, Newcastle finished above us. We've got a point against the teams that we're up against, like Forest, who, by the way, have got 8 points on the board, you know, and went away and beat Liverpool away. And guess who's manager of them? Nuno Espirito Santo, doing Nuno Espirito Santo things. And we seem to have this small club mentality about like saving bits and pieces here, there, and ever. We're not dreaming big. We're not acting like a big club. The manager isn't acting like we're a big club. We are a big club. We you know, we've got like we're not a United or a thing with their global fan base, but we're founder members in the Football League. We've won everything going pretty much. You know, we've got to start thinking like a bit. If you think you're outclassed, you are. If you think you're not going to win, you won't. You've got to believe it. And it winds me up.
The Villa fan on your chat and he said, Wolves owners are miles richer than our owners, and he's absolutely right. But our owners have got a small mentality, and they need to get out our club because they're killing us.
They've changed. Obviously, they got burnt with some of these signings, and I get that with Fabio Silva.
£1,000 million, Dave, to get burnt with. That sort of money doesn't even touch the sides, Dave. They are mega rich. They are hugely rich. £100 billion business. It's £1,000 million that company's worth. £10 million to them. He's like you losing 10 pence.
You're not wrong with what you're saying. They are obviously, you're very wealthy, but obviously you can only spend what you've got. But at the moment, we're sort of like in the last obviously
it's not just money though, Dave. It's not money.
No.
We bought some good players for not expensive amounts. Let's be honest. We bought players for 8 and 10 million. It was performed better than the 30 and 40 million. It's the intention and the mentality. The mentality and the intention is wrong, you know, and it starts from the top. What Jeff said this summer repeatedly, he never said it once, he said it in snippets at different levels. He was basically happy with existing as a Premier League club. There's no way any I can't think of any other chairman in the whole, you know, Premier League would have that type of vision. Whether they know that they're bad or they're not going to do very well, but you still don't let that out. You make people believe. We went from Nuno saying dreaming is for free to Gary O'Neill saying, oh, well, they're going to finish above us. Would Nuno ever say that about Newcastle?
He always said about having dreams, believing.
Yeah.
That's why it was installed in the squad. It was all about that vision, that one-pack mentality, that, you know, if you like, and then when you get your dreams taken away, it's so down, but we still turn up, we still support them. Lucy, what's your thoughts?
No, I agree with what Manny's just said, actually. I think we're all still in that bubble where we think, come on, let's keep believing, like Nuno said. And it feels like they're just popping it. They're popping our bubble every single time they're playing the game. I think he's just such a negative little man. I'd love to have a little meeting with him and just say to him, do you realise what our football club means to us? Because I don't think he actually does, you know. I really don't. I think he just sees it as a business. It's all about money. It's not about how people feel. It's not about, you know, at the end of the day, that place, that team, the way it makes people feel, it helps me with my anxiety going to the games. It brings people out of themselves. It's a release for people. it's a joy for him to come out. For him to come out and be so negative about our team, about our club, about our fans. I think it's downright disrespectful, and it's out of order. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be feeling. I mean, the amount of people I speak to and they say, well, I don't know whether I'll go next week because we're going to lose. That's not the way it should be. We're fans through and through. You should be there regardless. You should be there supporting the team that are on that pitch, regardless of whether we're winning or losing. But he's put that in our heads. It's him. And he's put it in Gary O'Neill's head as well. And then he's progressing it onto the players. And I hate it. I hate that feeling. I hate watching them players get to 70 minutes and the heads go down. It's horrible to watch. It's horrible. We want to see pride. And they are playing. Sorry for getting upset. They are playing pride.
Lucy, this is why we want fans like you to come on, because you're real. You know, you are a happy person, the smiling person, and you can see in your face and in your voice, and it's bringing a tear to my eye to see you feeling like that. It's heartbreaking. It's soul destroying. I feel like, you know, we're in a Harry Potter movie and like the Dementors are all sucking the life gradually out of Molyneux. And we're in this Groundhog Day. But Lucy, I'm really glad. I'm really so happy that you can come on as a fan and show that emotion, because it's real and it's raw. And I hope they see this, because that's what it's all about. Lewis, your take.
Yeah, I think, Dave, the team, the squad at the club at Wolves, everybody has to take a little bit of blame, a bit of responsibility, because you can make a case for all four kind of parts of the club, the manager, Matt Hobbs, Jeff, and the players, to take some responsibility, because ultimately it's not just one thing that can affect it. You know, as Emma said, and you know, and Jack too. If you sacked Gary, maybe the new manager coming in would play five at the back, and I think that would help a lot of our problems. But that doesn't mean that we don't need a centre back still. You know, that's still an issue that Matt Hobbs and Jeff didn't deal with. And I think I saw a comment that said about Andre. I think he's been a fantastic signing, and you know, I've been very impressed. He's looked like a signing who, for a long time, we haven't made a signing like that, whereas he's come in and had an instant impact, and you can see his quality straight away. But on the flip side of that, our midfield was pretty settled. And maybe if it was me and I was being a bit critical, I would say, well, 21 million, and we were close to signing a centre-back, but we couldn't quite get it done. Maybe I would have prioritised the centre-back first and put that bit more money into that than getting Andre in, because I think we could have survived without Andre. It's looking unlikely we will survive without a top-quality centre-back in the system that Gary wants to play. So I think there's a bit of responsibility there that Matt Hobbs needs to take. And obviously he'll have objectives set for him by the club about you need to make a certain amount of revenue back on the players you sign. And he's probably looked at Andre as a player who has a great deal of upside to him when we eventually sell him, which again, I have no issue with, because that's really good business for the club. We get a player for a while who's a fantastic player and we sell him for a lot of money. But I think we needed to think about our targets a lot more sensibly this year, especially when we sold Kilman. As Manny said, we sold him a very long time ago. And to think that if you want to play four at the back, as Gary looks insistent on doing, you need a better centre-back than Yerson and Totti. And obviously Dawson has come back in and looked a bit more stable. But you still need a better centre-back in it either or next to it. If you have Yerson, you need a better centre-back next to him than Dawson. Or if you have Dawson, you need a better centre-back next to him than Yerson. So there's a lot of things going on that haven't gone well. So I don't think it's fair to say, you know, as everybody has said, you can't change one thing and expect everything to be perfect. because I think even if the owners were different and we spent and we'd signed players, well, for a long time, Villa signed a lot of players that didn't quite work out. You know, this has been probably since Emery's come in, you know, it took them a long time to find the right combination. Just throwing money at it, it didn't always work. And I think that it's just a lot of things that are coming together that aren't quite working for us at the moment. And it's a big job to get back to where we were a few years ago. And it's a bit disappointing to me because I saw how close we were. I think everybody did. We were, you know, halfway there. Really, we were in Europa League, and had we not had Arsenal not won the FA Cup in the second season, the pandemic season, we would have played Europa League for the second consecutive season as well. We finished 7th. That was enough. But Arsenal obviously won the FA Cup that season, so they took our space. So yeah, I think. I don't think it's fair to blame one person. The immediate form for me Gary has to be better. That set of players should be picking up more than 1 point in the 5 games. But the bigger picture, which I always like to look at as well, there's a lot of things going wrong.
Absolutely. As everyone sort of, I've been around everyone on that point. I think I have, haven't I? We're just going to take a little thing to get some more international fans reaction. There's a couple more coming here. You might recognize them. So here they come. This is Dave, who's just coming out the Fan Fest in Chicago.
Hey Dave, David Neopools, just leaving the Chicago Fan Fest. Very, very disappointed. I was a nervous wreck the first part of the second half. I mean, the stats for the first half, we dominated them and we only had 1 goal, and we know sort of what can happen. We needed a second, and we couldn't get it. It came close a couple of times, and then second half, I don't know if that's we deliberately sit back and try and soak up pressure, or if just Villa came at us and we couldn't get out. But it was Newcastle all over again, wasn't it? And they came back, and you could see it coming when they equalised. You thought, well, maybe we can hold on for a draw, but wasn't to be. And then all of a sudden it seemed like we woke up when they scored their second. It's a really frustrating day. I thought we played some really good stuff, but then just kind of fell apart second half, and it's going to be a very long, painful season if we keep doing that. Got to mention Mosquera. That did not look good. You got to fear the worst on that, unfortunately, which will underline the lack of investment in centre-backs in the summer. Santi came on, you know, you think Santi and Totti with Santi or Totti with Dawson is a decent pairing, but you know Dawson's not going to be able to play every game, so all of a sudden we might be in trouble at the back. Actually, Jody Craddock was here at the Fan Fest, and I joked with him a couple of times. Mate, you need to be on a plane to Molyneux and put your boots on. We need him at the back. So anyway, we had a really good meet up here. A lot of great people. I'll send you a video from Fido later on. We're having a meet up and Q&A with Jody, but as far as the result, I mean, we probably wouldn't have expected to get anything out of today, but leading 1-0, leading 1-0 well into the second half, to lose 3-1 is just very, very disappointing, and we got to start turning this stuff around. All right, mate. See you soon.
Hey, Dave. Noah here from Marina, California, at the Brass Tap. So it ends Villa 3, Wolves 1. And there's a saying in the military here in the States. Maybe it's probably also used over there across the pond. But that is, and I apologize if I swear, SSDD. Same shit, different day. We played a very good game for 60 minutes. And then once Villa made those changes, we only made 1. Like that. You knew it was coming. Obviously as well, hope Yerson is okay. But I'm just going to say this right now, that did not look good. Villa player has gone into his knee from the side. He has been inwards. So most likely, at least, it's a ligament type injury. Yeah, just overall very frustrating. Cunha, good again, got his goal. Andre, good again, I thought. Man, maybe sort of unlucky on that first goal he conceded, but from there on, it was just an absolute capitulation on all sorts of measures. We were not even close. We weren't really competitive in those 30 minutes until stoppage time. We only got some chances as well. We had a few half chances as well in the first half. We were dominant, but the game goes in ebbs and flows, and if you can't go with it, you're gonna lose. Simple as that. So, anyways, it's on to next weekend. As always, don't remember who we play, nor do I really care. It's at home, of course. At least it's at home. But yeah. Anyways, always Wolves.
Yeah, and he sounded really fed up, like we're all fed up. I know they're over there in different countries, but they still stay up and watch the games, and they still feel it, and you could see it in his face. The next part of the show that we're going to be looking at now is the man of the match performance rate and a moment of the day. But before we get on to that, one other point that I'd like to make, which I couldn't believe really. We're winning 1-0. We're totally dominant in the first half. We're so in control. They hadn't even had a shot on target. We'd had 9 shots. By the way, at the end of the match, whatever our half-time stats were at half-time, they were exactly the same at the end of the game. That's how bad it was in the second half. But, like, they're down to 10 men. We're winning 1-0, and we're pity-pattering the ball around, keeping possession to get to half-time, like they were scared of making a mistake and going in at one. Why are Villa down to 10 men at that point, and there's 2 or 3 minutes to go of that half, and we're not trying to exploit that and get another goal and attack, but we were just sitting off them and just playing to half-time? Where does that directive come from? Is that the players, or is that the coaching staff saying, hey, guys, you've done a good job, let's get in for 1-0? That's the mentality of the team. It's like we should be going for the jugular. We should be going to kill them off. And instead, we were passing the ball around, playing for half-time against a team that were on the ropes, there for the taking, with 10 men. Go figure. Anyway, that's just a point that I wanted to make. Craig, man of the match, performance rating, and your moment of the day, and it could be just...
Makes you want to get a megaphone and shout, 1-0's not good enough.
Well, Cunha, for me, he's a different class. And he was a different class to anything on that pitch, including all these Villa fans on the chat. You wish you'd got him. He's a different class, but I can see him and Andre. How long are they going to stop for this shout of shit? That's the first thing. My moment was just when we were in total control, and I've seen all the crap. I've got loads of Villa mates, and they're saying, we were poor. No, you weren't. We made you look poor, guys. We played you off the park. But the second half, unfortunately, we self-destructed and we gave you space, and you're too good a side not to make use of that space. So it was watching the Villa fans looking in disbelief at Wolves, bottom of the league, showing their team, their Champions League team, how to play. And one last point, Dave, if you don't mind. We've got a problem without the ball, not with the ball. We've got serious issues without the ball. And we're all down, and all these shoulders are down, and the body language of us all is terrible, because we know it won't change while he continues doing what he's doing. We cannot keep a clean sheet in this formation, because when you look at us, the way that we're set up, it's supposed to be 2 banks of 4. It isn't. It's a defensive bank of 4, which is in a relatively straight line. And then that next bank of 4, if you look at it, it's like it's a zigzag. So you've got too much space for the opposition to play 1-2s into, which is why we give up too much space. Unless we change this formation, we're going to be a long time waiting for a win.
Thank you. Emma, I'll go over to you next, please.
What do you want? Man of the match, performance rating,
And
moment of
moment
the day.
of the day.
Okay, man of the match. I think it's Andre. I think he was a steal. And he, you know, he's mopping up so much defensively for us. I just think Andre. Performance rating. We look good first half, so you've got to bump it up for that. But 5, maybe 5. Moment of the day. Catching up with everyone, really. We met a lot of friends there at the game, so that's always nice. And the bill in the chip shop was only 11 quid. That was a bonus.
Before the game, yeah. Fish and chips. Fantastic. We'll go with Lewis next.
That's important.
Yeah, I think man of the match. I agree with Tuba. I think Cunha is fantastic, and he shows a lot of passion, which I think it shows a lot about him as a player. Even when things are difficult, he still demands so much from everyone around him, and maybe
he was playing right back at one point as well.
Yeah, even if those shouts are coming from the bench of, let's hold on to this for 1-0 until half time, I don't see him in that same way. I don't see him listening to those instructions because he's not that kind of player. And I saw a few comments that if we get relegated and he's not going to stay, Dave. I don't see any of the team in that starting 11 staying if we get relegated. So Cunha is a very special player, and I think I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing from him in the past few weeks, especially. Performance rating, again, this is something I said I think maybe the last time I was on here. First half, very good, 8 to 9 out of 10, maybe 8 because we didn't score enough with the chances we had. Second half is abysmal. There's you can't compare. You can't imagine that they are the same. That's the same game. The difference of quality and performance between the two halves. So overall, I'm going to have to go a 4 because the performance in the second half let us down so much, and it's costing us results. It's consistently costing us results. And I think moment of the day was the first half. The goal. It was a great goal, but that's the only real positive that I can take.
As always, well spoken. Manny?
I didn't go to the game. I only watched snippets, but I won't go with Cunha because obviously he's the obvious one to go for because he does wear heart on the sleeve and he gives everything for the club. But I'll go for the striker again, like I did against Newcastle, because while he's on the pitch, we play well. He goes off and we go sit deep. We did it against Newcastle. We took him off. It was 1-1 and we lost 2-1. And against Villa as well. It's just an out ball we have. And he, defenders, you can see those defenders. You can see they're actually relieved when the big lump has gone because he's elbows and he's pushing and he's shoving and he's awkward, man. He's like that mini Haaland, isn't he? And he started his career well. He's already got an assist and a goal and he could have scored more. He's at the post. And this isn't a bad team and bad performances. He's still showing up. So I'm going to give it to Strand Larsen again. Performance, that second half was like playing with 10 men. If you got a player sent off and then you hung on, that's what the second half was. You can't go from 10 shots to none. That's simple.
Our stats shots.
It went from 10 in the first half to none in the second half. That's like you've gone away on holiday for 2 months and come back as a completely different team. That can't be in the same match. So for that alone, that second half's like you can't even give it a 2, really. You conceded 3 goals and not had a shot, So overall, that's about a 4 out of 10, really, because of the position you're in, because of the way you've played and the position you've molded to then completely surrender it all and just throw it all in the bin, basically. Villa, if you speak to Villa fans, they can't believe it. They don't see it as their team launching this astonishing comeback because they actually saw their team a little bit disjointed, the crowd really quiet, maybe we're going to lose today. That's what they thought. And then they suddenly, bloody hell, they've let us score 3 goals and they've won the match.
Mate,
so
I've had loads of comments on our reaction. There's a lot of Villa fans that have been really courteous, said how well the Wolves fans respected Gary O'Neill, Gary Shaw.
Yeah.
And I think that all the Wolves fans and, should be respect for that. And there's a lot of Villa fans that said that. And there's a lot of Villa fans that have said, look, you're not so far off. It's coming. You're a decent team. A lot of Villa fans said we thought we were going to come back in every game, but after the first half against Wolves, we couldn't see us coming back. But again, they referred to Unai Emery, who's made the changes and worked his magic.
But I still, even though he made the changes, because of the way we played, we just invited them. We said, come on then, Villa, come and take us, please. Have a few shots and win the match. That's what we did. So we made it easy for them.
Yeah,
and that's totally down to us. At the moment of the day, you've just mentioned it there, Gary Shaw, West Midlands club, even though it's not our club, won the European Cup, and really sad time for the Midlands and that club. And it's brilliant to see fans coming together to observe that silence, because it's quite, people, was it applause or silence? Was it, Dave?
Applause, yeah.
Applause,
and it was really great. And I say a lot of Villa fans have come on and they've actually said fair play to the Wolves fans, how you rivals this side, incredibly respectful. And
just one last thing I just want to mention. It was in my head. It's been in my head for about 3 or 4 weeks. I've never really said anything. Players have this thing about when they score a goal, they put their goal on Instagram and celebrate their goal, and this little celebration and stuff when they've lost a game. When you've lost a game, you've lost. You've lost a game. Get back on the training ground and put it right. Don't post on Instagram that I celebrated and I scored a goal. You lost 3-1.
I agree.
Imagine Brian Clough seeing one of his strikers glorify a goal in a 3-1 defeat. He'd have him out.
All B means do it when we've won the game.
Yeah, so Cooney is a great player. I love him, but it's just maybe it's the culture or something or whatever. He's doing it for his fans back home. He's posting on his Instagram that he's celebrating with it. And I'm thinking, no. Leave your social media, get back on that training ground and work bloody hard to put this right. And we've done it before. One of the players did it earlier on in the season. And I thought, nah, you can't celebrate scoring a goal when you've given up and surrendered a lead. You've got to be in training the next morning and, get your head down and work bloody hard. And you come and the time you celebrate is when you beat a team and say, right, I'm going to celebrate now. So, we've got to. Gary O'Neill should clamp down on that. Gary O'Neill should be ringing those players up straight away and say, delete that bloody post. Who the hell do you think you are? We lost that game. And so, that really gets me why people do that. It seems like it's more prevalent. Other strikers from other teams do it as well. They celebrate individual moments and it's something about football that I just do not like.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Do it when you've won the game, but not when you've lost. I mean, Kuna is very emotional. He's a great guy, but that's probably not the time to do that. Lucy.
Hi.
Got a smile back.
I'm back. Back in the room.
Yeah.
Right. Man of the match. It's between Andre and Cunha. Since he's come in, I like Andre. He's just brilliant. His positioning, his speed on the ball, his passes are class. But yesterday, I've got to give it to Cunha. He was brilliant, and that goal was just superb. And that boy's got so much passion. I agree with you, though, Manny. You shouldn't do that. Only celebrate if you've won. Behave yourself otherwise. I've got to give it 5 out of 10. First half was cracking, absolutely brilliant. Best we've seen them play this season so far. Second half, they might as well have gone to the pub and let Villa crack on, because I think they did, to be honest. It just, my God.
Something was put in the tea at half time.
Oh, God, it was just a joke, wasn't it? It was an absolute joke. Moment of the day was finishing me decorating because I was on my own all day yesterday. So I got me decorating finished in the kitchen.
Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. Has everyone done their man of the match and stuff yet? Now, right. So next up, just for a little bit of lightheartedness before we come back, looking ahead to Liverpool, and then I'm going to be asking everyone direct questions about Gary O'Neill's tenure to finish off in, and we're going to also ask Manny just to talk a little bit more about his walk before he tries to get some sleep in, which is going to need plenty before that. Emma, favourite meal?
I love food.
I'm going to tell you, she's a brilliant cook.
I think mine's going to be, if you ask me today, I think it's going to be some sort of seafood linguine or lobster or something like that.
Oh dear, she's posh.
That's very posh.
No, it reminds me of holidays, Manny.
Go on.
Nice one. Tuba.
Oh, easy.
You've got to have some light-hearted moments.
Yeah, we have steak and kidney pudding and chips, not pie, pudding. And the thicker the suet, the better. When it's been in for about 3 hours and all the steak juice has gone into the suet, and I could eat a massive one to myself, as you can see.
Brilliant. Love it. Jack?
Fish and chips for me. Absolute classic. Can't go wrong.
Fantastic. From the chip shop?
Gotta be, yeah.
Absolutely. Manny, go on.
You know what? Samosa next. No, it's not a samosa. You know what? What Jack just said there. So my dad came to England in 1960. So fish and chips was like, what the hell's all this about? So Friday was English night. We went for an English. So my dad went down to the chip shop to get that was the only English food we knew, fish and chips. And we thought, English people only eat potatoes. Is there anything else in their diet? They only seem to eat pies and potatoes. And here I am, 50 years later, and English people still eat pies and potatoes. Schubert, you've just proved it. So, in English, we used to go for English. But yeah, on Indian food, because I am vegetarian, I used to eat meat back then. I was actually a manager in a chicken factory, so I worked with meat for a long time. But we have something called saag, which is spinach, and my mom makes it, and she puts paneer in it, which is like a creamy cheese, and makes it with these chapatis that are made out of chickpea flour, and it's like a traditional Punjabi, homely, like, warming up food. So anything your mom cooks is great, isn't it? So
yeah,
mom's food.
Dave, yeah. When Manny was saying that, then which of us thought of goodness gracious me and going for 50 on our jammers.
That was brilliant, mate.
Jammers.
We used to watch that, and that was based on truth. That was what it was. The chip shop by us, it was all Indian families who were lined up at the chip shop on the Friday to go and get their weekly English,
the blandest thing on the menu.
That's right.
Yeah. Lewis has got to drop off, I think. Is that right?
Brilliant.
Drop off. Yeah.
Before you go, you've got to give us your food.
Yeah, my favourite meal is cottage pie with gravy and veg. I think it's really proving Manny's point for sure, but that's what I like the most.
And finally, because I'm going to be talking about this after I've gone, score prediction for Liverpool for you, and how long are you giving Gary O'Neill?
I really don't want to predict the Liverpool game, Dave. I'm going to say at least 3, at least. And I think Gary will get. Yeah, I think I don't think they'll look at the Liverpool game. They won't look at the Man City game. They probably won't look at. Yeah, it's going to be mid-October, late October before anything changes. Similar to when Bruno left, to be honest.
Okay, fantastic, mate. Thank you for your contributions today.
Thanks,
Thanks for getting up early in the morning. Much appreciated.
All the best.
Cheers.
See you, Louis.
Yeah.
So that's Louis. Lucy, favourite food? Meal?
Mine would be sausage, egg, and chips. I'm a massive
Chips there again, Manny. Look,
foodie.
Oh, yeah,
Same as them.
potatoes. They only eat
love my
potatoes in this
food.
country.
Say chips, sausage, egg, and chips. It's just great with the piece of bread and butter on the side. Oh, it's busting. But I love like shepherd's pies and cheese and potato pie and things like that. I love it. Proper stodgy food, stews and everything. Oh, but Manny samosas, you know,
Thank
Chris
you.
Humphrey says he likes
you know what I
Manny
mean?
P-less samosas. No
I
one said
can't have
I
it peeless, Chris.
I like anything that Emma makes because it's really not. It's really nice.
Such a creep.
Emma, I'm on my way.
Honestly, she's a brilliant cook. I mean, we made a list of so many things, but she makes a cracking lasagna. I'm going to tell you that now, and a great sausage casserole. But we had a nice thing. We've had a nice Sunday lunch today, which was beautiful with a bit of chicken.
Did
and
you
roast
nearly
bacon.
say English then?
Yeah, yeah, a full English. I like
Really
full
had an
English. A full English as well. Right. To finish off on, we're going to be just doing score predictions for Liverpool game, and I want to ask you guys, Gary O'Neill, how long would you get him? Would you get rid of him straight away? How long are you going to give him? Not when you think. If you were in charge right now, what would your decision be? And we're going to start with Craig.
I think we're going to
Craig's
lose. Yeah, I can't see us winning in this formation because we're too open. So I'm going 4-1 reluctantly because you're all aware of how passionate I am about the team. But I like say it as I see it, and we are miles too open at the moment. He should go straight away because he's had 15 games, and 15 games is more than a trend to see what your coaching and your formations are doing, and he's changed nothing. And that's a massive worry. That's somebody that has got their head in the sand, or they are blindly optimistic about what they think is going to happen, and the players edge it and see him going down. So I think a 4-1 loss, and I'd get rid of him now.
So you're all for making a change straight away?
Immediately, yeah.
Okay, Jack.
I think in some ways, I think Mosquera's injury might force O'Neill's hand a little bit in terms of changing, because you can't play Dawson and Santi Bueno as a two at the back against anyone in the Premier League, let alone Liverpool. So in some ways, I think you might have to go back to the 3/5. It'll be a tough game regardless of that. At the minute, heads are on the floor and we just don't seem to be able to get across the line. We've been in some unbelievable positions in games recently. You know, I mean, if you look at the last week, we've played 3 decent teams and we've been good in all 3 games for a spell and come out with 3 losses. And that's probably more frustrating than if we'd have turned up and been rubbish for the whole game and just not deserved anything. So it's difficult to see us getting anything at the minute, because even if we played as well as we think we're capable of and got ourselves into a good position, I don't think we're capable of getting it over the line at the minute. And that's the worry. In terms of O'Neill, I think he's probably got 2 more games. I think if we don't get a result against Liverpool or Brentford, then I don't think you can have any complaints if there's a change. I really don't, because like Craig's just said, it's not just these first 5 games. It's everything else at the end of last year. It's the negativity in his comments to the press. It's the lack of in-game management. It's the fact that he's up against some of the best managers in the world and he's consistently coming up short at the key moments. The worry is, like we said earlier, if you get rid of O'Neill, does that suddenly solve everything? Of course it doesn't. So there's got to have to be something more to it than that. You know, there's no sort of Lopetegui knight in shining armour actors that are coming halfway through this season, and there's no World Cup break where he can get his ideas into the players. So something needs to change quickly. You know, but being last year, if you think last year we went into the Man City game, didn't we? And there was a lot of talk about O'Neill and whether he was the right appointment, and he pulled a win out of that one, and then we sort of kicked on, didn't we? So fingers crossed.
There is a lot of ability. There is a lot of ability in this team.
There is, yeah. There is.
You know, we are capable of winning games. We're capable of winning the first half, as Manny's pointed out. We'd be on 8 points. It's like the second half. We haven't scored a goal after half time. I don't think in any of the Premier League games, as far as I can think. So there are some great signs with the team. When you see us playing against Villa in the first half, we looked a proper good team, but it's no good doing it for like half a game. You've got to do it for 90 minutes, and you've got to put games to bed, and we're not doing it. And you wonder what was said at half time, and you wonder what was said from the sidelines when we're passing it around, when they're down to 10 men and with 2 or 3 minutes. It's fear. It's fear of failure. And if you have fear of failing, you don't go for it, you don't be positive, you're going to come up short. Manny, your prediction, and if you're the chairman, what's your decision with Gary O'Neill?
Unless Jeff Shee miraculously can ring Jurgen Klopp and say, would you like to manage Wolves against your old team Liverpool? You know, who are you going to realistically bring in right now? Right here, right now. Like Jack says, Rob Edwards. It's not somebody we're going to think, oh, yes, here we go. First and foremost, we have to go back to a back five. He did it last year in the game that he mentioned. We all thought, we went to Ipswich away and we threw a 2-0 lead in that Carabao Cup. And I said to my sons, that's it. This guy can't carry on. We went to the Saturday game where we all predicted 4-0 City, 5-0 City, 3-0
like what's happening now with Liverpool.
And we didn't give Manchester City a kick, but we went back to this 5 and we marked them out the game, and we sat back and we soaked up the pressure. So, like Jack says, we've probably been forced into that position. And obviously, depending on if Totti's fit, he hasn't been fit recently. So Totti, Santi and Dawson comes back, and then it releases our wing backs to go a little bit further forward. Andre sitting, who's done really, really well with more protection behind him. We could stumble onto a system that suddenly works. So I'm going to be optimistic. I don't care if none of you are, even though I can't see Gary O'Neill lasting. I just can't see a long-term progression with him. I think we're, after being awake for about 50 odd hours, I want to see Wolves beat. Well, I'll hallucinate a 2-1.
I was just about to say, Manny, by then you'll be hallucinating anything.
For me, if I'm celebrating in the crowd and we're 4-0 down, please don't, curse me. It's just that I'm tired. No, so you got to look at the positive. I can't see a future with O'Neill right here, but people are allowed to prove you wrong, and all we can do is go to the next game. We haven't got another manager. It is him, and we still got to go there, and we still start 0-0. Players have got to have a bit of pride, and sometimes players just take ownership. Just take ownership and be a bit brave and be bigger than even what your manager's telling you, and just say, look, we're going to be brave. If we do get into a position, we're going to carry on being brave, and we're going to carry on going forward, and we're going to still look to do things progressively, so yeah, that's the hope. Can't see it. The odds are we'll lose, but I'll go for a 2-1 win because that's mad. Yeah.
And what are you saying to Gary O'Neill?
Gary O'Neill, I think I agree with Jack. If we lose against Brentford, that's my game. I don't care. I'm not going to Southampton. Don't go that far. That's like, if we lose against Brentford away, then I think he'll go after that game.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to come back in a minute and talk about your walk as well. Lucy,
Right.
Liverpool result. You're the chairman. What are you doing with Gary O'Neill right now?
Right, result for Liverpool. I'm going to be an optimist as well. I'm not going to go for a win, though, because I just can't see that. But I think a 2-2.
I'll take that. Thank you.
I'd take 2-2 any day. We can score against them. We can. We've got the opportunity. We can. They've just got to take those chances. Unfortunately, our players, when they get in front of the goal, they go, "What's there?" They don't know what to do. Bloody shoot! Listen to your fans when they're shouting at you. Shoot! You can score. They are able, so they need to just go for it. I can see us doing a 2-2. And I'm with Manny and Jack on the Gary O'Neill. Another 2 games, definitely.
So you're
And
only two.
If they can't get anything out of that, then bye.
Okay, fantastic. 2 games as well from Lucy. Emma, Liverpool match. Not that I'm going to steal your score for the predictions or anything like that.
Well, I'm sort of expecting. You've heard of deja vu. I'm going with deja poo. You see the same crap again. I'm expecting a full out big score line.
She's going to take her bed sheet to that match, isn't she? She's going to have her bed sheet out. She is.
However, through this week, I'll get gradually more and more optimistic, and come match day, I'll be like, "Yeah, we're going to win."
That's what we'll all be doing, you know. We always go in with
the day after a loss.
Listen, that's quite funny, Emma. Okay, you're the chairman. You're in charge. You're Madam Chairman, Gary O'Neill. What are you doing? Where are you at with it? It'd be interesting actually to see where you're at with this.
I'm not sure. I mean, it's really hard to say because you don't know what the results are going to be. I think probably November international break, which is like we've got 2 games in October. We've got another 3 till November international break. So I reckon it'll be about 5, maybe 6.
No, not reckon. This is what you would do.
No, yeah, I still, we've got signs that we're a good team. He's not changed his tactics, his outlook, anything. We just need to see what he does. But I still think November international break.
November international break. Okay, that's great. From where I'm at of it, right? Look, you know me. I'm kind of like being not giving the excuse into been given the extenuating circumstances of last year with the amount of injuries, that how well he did early season, that we were pushing, that we started bad last season, and then we, like Manny says, it was kind of a forced change, and then we went on this run. And like again at the beginning of this year, we've got a really difficult start, but the thing that really gets me, it's not just about losing, it's the mannerism that it's this small mindset that we're inferior to these teams. And from a leader, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear like, oh yeah, that they're probably going to finish above us, or we're probably not expected to get anything. Because if you think like that, that's going to feed into the players. And like he got them, he set them up in 2 or 3 games, got them really, really good. We've been incredibly positive. The Villa game, we were absolutely brilliant. And then for some reason, he's got us playing negative after that, and like just sitting back, waiting for it to happen. It's had the same feeling every single game. And that vulnerability is feeding now into the players of being scared to be bold in case, because they've got a lead, they don't want to push forward in case they get caught. But ultimately, you get caught anyway. And we have been unlucky with the first goal against Newcastle with a deflection. And Sam Johnstone would probably have saved the Ollie Watkins, and we were unlucky with the deflection off Dawson again. But you make your own luck. Ryan Ait-Nouri's shot deflects wide. We are being unlucky. We aren't getting the rub of the green, and we need a bit of luck as well. But Gary, you make your own. My dad always says, David, you make your own luck, and by being positive, you make your own luck. And we could all see it coming. And the bit that I can't accept from the manager is the defeatist excuses after the game and before the game. And that's the bit that where I'm like with it. It's like, if you're thinking like that, are you the right man to lead us or not? And Gary O'Neill's, for me, he's got credit in the bank, but that credit that he's built up is running down very, very fast. The fan base have been incredibly patient. They were singing Gary O'Neill's Barmy Army at the weekend. They haven't turned on the manager at the away matches. They haven't turned on the players. They've stuck with them. The fans are carrying Gary O'Neill at the moment, because at some point that patience is going to run out. And you can see from the comments on here, you can see from the reactions and how people are, you can see from the emotion from someone like Lucy and all of us were quite level-headed and patient people, that we're starting to get to the end of our tether. And if he wants to keep his job, he has got to get a result like very, very, very quickly. I think, like Emma, there's 5 games probably until there's the October international break, and then we start with like technically the easier run of fixtures, but there could be a lot of pressure on those games. And if them games go wrong by November, he's going to be gone at the latest. But if some of the performances have been okay, I don't feel like the players aren't playing for him, but it can turn one way or the other very, very fast. And I'm hoping that for his sake, he looks at what he's got to do, and we've got to get back to basics, stop conceding goals, score from the chances, and hopefully we can kick it on. So we will see. I know there's a lot of people that are saying, look, get rid of him now. I can't see it happening right now, but I do think the writing's on the wall, and his time's running out very, very fast, and he needs to sort it out. Otherwise, he will be gone very, very soon. But let's hope that's not the case, and we start winning. And yeah,
Dave, did anybody else pick up on his after-match comment yesterday, where I felt that he was blaming some of the team players on the pitch? And you don't do that in public. You know, the lads have got to do better. They've got to get the tackles in. You don't. You never comment like that in public as a manager. You keep that stuff behind closed doors.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. Now there's a couple of little people having spats. You'll both be kicked out if you're not apologising to each other. Because we're not
yellow card.
Yeah, you're getting a warning. You know, I'm sick of it. Like, we're on here having a conversation, and you're like 2 kids. So just cut it out. You're not kids. You know, get on with it. We're not that sort of channel. So yeah, right. Manny, I'm going to just talk to Manny for a second about this thing, and then the one other thing that I want to just give you guys the opportunity to do whilst Manny tells us about the walk is, if you've got any questions that you want to ask to the panel, whilst Manny tells us a little bit more about what's happening next weekend, get your questions in, and then we'll finish with that, and then we're done. Manny, over to you. You have got literally, I don't know,
4 more sleeps.
4 more sleeps, literally.
Yeah.
Tell us what your plans are for this week, and how you're going to prepare for this, and how much
Yeah,
money.
so after walking to Chelsea and walking to Newcastle, and lots and lots of fans were saying to me, "Oh, I'd love to walk with you. I'd love to turn up. I'd love to join you." And I thought, well, it's really hard if I'm walking through the Pennines or through whatever, or down the towards Oxford for the Chelsea walk. Where are people going to join me? And so we come up with this thing about walking in just one area, and that was the stadium. So we're walking around the perimeter of the stadium, starting at 4:30 on Thursday afternoon, and I'm going to try and walk continuously. And that means I'm not planning on sitting down 48 hours. I'm planning on using the toilet when I need it. you know, and we just go 48 hours, walk, one step in front of the other. And you know what? I'm not just doing this because it's just something I've thought of. It's, you know, I've done the walk to Chelsea, walk to Newcastle, done those marathons. Because I've done that, I've got that in the bank. I sort of know some of the things I'm going to be facing. It's going to be by far the toughest thing I've ever done. I think personally, it's much tougher than the other walks, because even when I went to Newcastle, even though it was so far away, I knew I'd get to the end of the day, I'll get a shower, sort my legs out, have a ice bath, you know, and then I'll start again. So this is going to be continuous and as much as possible, and we'll see how it goes. But one thing is, I'm going to leave everything out there on the pitch. I'm going to give it everything, and that's the least I can do for the cause Dementia UK. There's 1 million people now who are living with this condition. 1 in 2 people know somebody with this condition, and they can't be alone. You can't be alone to deal with this condition. So Dementia UK, you know, they have a nursing service which is free of charge. You ring them and you're straight, no operators, you're straight to a nurse. And they got 500. They started with 2. They got 500 in the time that we've been fundraising. I've been an ambassador with them for 6 years, and they've gone from like 150 nurses to 500. Local hospitals in our area have had, you know, admiral nurses now appointed who go out and look after, and just it's not like they got miracle cures. They just become your buddy, your mate, someone you can lean on for a bit of advice when you're going through a really tough time and you can't see any way out, or you just want a bit of respite. You want to go to the pictures, or you want to go out with the girls on a night out, and you want somebody to look after your loved one for a night. And that's what the service they offer. So that's what we'll be doing. Anyone can join us. I've got people from Wakefield, Newcastle, Wales, London, fans, Villa fans, Albion fans, Newcastle fans, Chelsea fans coming to join. I've got school kids, children from a special school coming out in their wheelchairs. So, you know, it's just a huge community event, I see. And yes, it's going to be tough, but there's going to be lots of uplifting moments, and hopefully it will raise a lot of awareness and lots of funds. We're about £200 short of raising $5,000 for the walk already before it started, and which is unbelievable, really, you know. And I just want to thank everybody who puts their hard-earned cash, you know. And if you don't want to spend it on the football, just spend it here. You'll get much more value for money from it. And if you can, you know, 4:30 night and day till 4:30 Saturday, just come for a chat, for a walk, just a natter, put the world to rights. We can, you know, I don't know, we can do our little mini protest outside the ground while we're walking, maybe, I don't know. and just join in to make a difference and help those people that are going through this condition.
Fantastic. And have you got the if you can just send me the
I'll send it you again.
As well.
Yeah.
Manny,
So, yeah. Thank you, mate. Thank you again for covering and always supporting and always encouraging people, because that's really, really important. You know, I always say to people, not everybody can donate. It's really hard times, but you can send it on to somebody, or you can encourage, and you'll find somebody somewhere that's living with this condition that actually wants to do something, but they don't know how to. So when they see an opportunity to donate to something like this, they really want to. And I've got lots and lots of people who have told me their personal stories and given, you know, huge donations. So thank you,
mate. Listen, you know me. Well, you know, you've been like, as I say, on
I've
that
just
first ever
you.
podcast,
Yeah.
and support
Thank
what
you.
we do. And like, I've always want to try and support everything that you do with the platform that we got. We've got, you know, nearly 800 people watching live across multiple channels right as we speak, and there'll be like thousands more that'll watch it back and probably listen to it on the podcast. So look, Emma's put a link up here on the link, but if Manny, you can just send me over, I'll read it out for those that are going to be listening on the.
I'll just send it. Yeah.
You've just sent it me as well. So we've got whilst that goes on. So Manny's actual full link is, I'm just going to post up here. If you want to donate, it doesn't matter how much, or if you want to go down to Molyneux, you won't be able to miss him. You just stand outside the front of Molyneux. Probably every 10 or 15 minutes, he'll be passing by anyway, or whatever long it takes to do the rotation, and then just join in. But the actual link is, for those of you listening back on the podcast, is justgiving.com/fundraising/MKang. So that's MKANG. Just give what you can. It makes such a difference to people's lives that are suffering from dementia, not just those that are suffering, but also the family and friends of those as well. Manny, incredible. I know you'll do it. I like every time I thought, what's he going to do this next? It's like crazy. I just hope you do get some sleep. So we've got a few questions.
Well, if you bloody hurry up with this show, I'll go to bed.
Yeah, no, we've got a couple of questions, but look, people saying best of luck and everything.
Thank you.
Like David, how can you help in America? Obviously, donate on the link.
Yeah, you can donate around the world from that link. So just go on there and
Lawrence wants to know: do you agree with Craig about the formation? I think we've all covered that and said, yeah. Scott, we talked about the thing. Lana, why do all the other clubs increase their turnover and scrimping and no time? I think that's down to the owners, really. We have got money that we can spend if we want to. I'm just having a rundown here. Does any other questions? Carl has got the results of the poll. This is the YouTube poll that we've been running. So the results on at the moment stand that who do you blame? 47% of people that have voted say Gary O'Neill. 35% is Jeff. Matt Hobbs only 2%, which is good because he has done a good job. It's just this defender, and the players 17%. So you can see that blame is starting to move towards Gary, which is why he's really got to sort it all out. And will we keep going? We're in the championship. Anyway, I think that's just about it. I say, Manny, just need to get some sleep. John Owl says, great show as ever. I want Neil to stay and succeed. Why else would you get in as manager? Well, yeah, that's a question. Final question of the day. Who would you get in, Emma? I'll drop you in it. Who would you get in as manager?
That's part of my concern. I can't see us getting, like, Rob Edwards is probably the favourite. I don't think he's the one to get us out of this hole.
Craig's got his head in his hands.
You might get David Moyes.
It's the same mistake again, isn't it?
They're deluded in the chat. They're talking about Klopp and Potter and Tuchel.
Mourinho.
Yeah,
David Moyes.
Not deluded for saying we'd like that manager. It's more that they won't bring that manager in. They won't pay the money.
Exactly it.
They paid the money for Lopetegui. They paid him £10 million.
I don't think Klopp will even answer the call, let alone speak to us.
You all forget we just gave this manager a 4-year contract, so we've got to pay him that before we even look for a new manager. So it could be a while.
It's a combination, isn't it, of this club since Nuno has compounded its errors. So Gon doesn't get a win in 11 games, and he gets a 4-year extension on his contract. How does that work? Because if any of us fail to work, we don't get a pay rise. We get the tin tack. And Moyes would be, for me, a short-term solution, an 18-month solution. He would sort it out straight away. He'd put the right formation in, and we'd become very difficult to beat. And that's what we need at the moment. We need a clean sheet.
Sam Allardyce.
Well, I've just had to give someone a yellow card ban for calling other members stupid.
Dave, can I just say, you had a guy on the chat here. Stop talking about last season, Craig. Jamie, last season was Gon's team with Gon's 4-4-2. It's as prevalent now as it was then, son. Wake up to it.
Anyway,
Someone suggested Ted Lasso. Can we have him?
Ted Lasso, he couldn't do much worse at the moment, could he? At least he'd probably get some motivation. Look, we're coming up to 2 hours on the podcast. It's always a big in-depth chat. I want to say thank you to Lewis, thank you to Jack, Craig, the Golden Girl, smiler herself, Lucy, and Lucy, thanks for showing that raw emotion. I think that it was really important you showed that. Emma, making your debut on Extra Time, I thought you did really well. Thank you for coming on and saying your piece. Jack, glad that you're feeling a lot better, mate. Because I know you suffer with your health and the stress isn't helping with Wolves. And Manny, finally, from all of us again, massive congratulations on the Pride of Britain award. Yes! We will be rooting for you to win that, and we will be thinking about you. And we're going to try and pop down.
You'll be thinking about me when you're sleeping in your warm beds with your hot cup of cocoa. Thank you very much.
Well, me and Emma are going to try and pop down on.
It's going to be, and I obviously, me, I'll keep everyone updated, so you won't miss anything. So and it'll keep me occupied when I keep you updated. Give you something to do, I suppose.
Well, me and Emma are going to try and pop down on 30 to see you off.
Oh, brilliant, man. Brilliant.
Oh, and good luck with it.
You know what? There's a group of Manchester United fans that
they probably live in Wolverhampton.
No, they live in Manchester.
Oh no,
They go to all the home games. They're actually coming. They're coming to cover it on their podcast. They start at 4:30. So it's amazing, isn't it? How it breaks boundaries and breaks these conditions and these illnesses don't have any. They don't discriminate, do they? There's no colour and there's no all the badges and the shirts go missing, and everybody comes together to help. So it'll be great to see.
Well, absolutely, mate. We'll be thinking about you, and mate, try and get some sleep if you can.
Yeah. Let me go then.
Obviously not during the walk, but before it.
Yeah, I know. You know what? It's going to be. That's going to be the unknown, isn't it? Going into that, after that 24 hours.
I think that last 24 hours is going to be really tough. As it goes on, it's going to be really tough because sleep can play strange things. You might
make me normal.
You might see the statue start to walk about with you, Sir Jack walking along with you and Stag Bullis and stuff. Or you'll start having conversations with them on the way past.
Yeah.
And stuff because you lack of sleep, but walking as well.
I do want to say, I did go. I went to see the club because I had to do some sort of risk assessment, and so security are there 24 hours, and they're keeping a very close eye on me. So I've got their number, and they've given me there's a toilet at the back of the stand, colour stand, which you can access from the outside, and they've given me the key to it, so I can use that.
Oh, that's good. Well, hopefully, one of our own, Rebecca, will be about as well. She'll keep an eye on you too.
Yeah. Right. She's usually there.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. So many of you have. Hope you've liked the video, you've enjoyed. If you listen to it back on the podcast or on the thing, leave your thoughts. It's great to have Emma, Lucy, and all of you guys on. Craig, having you back on, and Manny. All the best. We'll be keeping a watch of it, reporting it on the Always Wolves socials as well. Until the next one, guys. Keep the faith.
Always Wolves.
Always Wolves.
Always Wolves.